Good morning, guys. Today is August 19th, a Wednesday of 2020, and I just thought maybe I would do a quick update. A few things are going on, and I want to share them with you. So, uh, the weather's been crazy here in California. I'm in the central part or southern part, I guess. I'm closer to the southern part, and we've had humidity really bad and overcast, and so I've been feeling it in my chest, breathing, and because I've had valley fever, and it's just been. I enjoy it as long as the sun's not out. I find that when the sun's out, my breathing and I get irritable. I can't handle it. And then when the clouds are covering the sun, then I can tolerate it and do a little bit more. So anyway, yes, I'm a little shaggy here. I'm sitting here prepping myself in the camera. So, what's happened lately? It's not, well, I shouldn't say happened lately. It happened a while back, but then the pandemic came and it's been pushed to the side. So, my wife and I were out. We have a few broken water lines throughout the property. This guy didn't properly bury them, so when there's weight on them, it pushes, and it's already been repaired once, so it pushes on that joint and leaks. So I had to drop and get on my belly in order to grab the water line and push the repair and the water line together before the glue dries, and it's a instant glue, basically, fast acting glue, should I say. And so when I got down, I felt pressure in my pelvic, and I thought, and it was painful, and I thought, oh, that's not good. And without thinking, I wasn't able to get the line on, and I had to hurry and get. I don't remember what I did, but I got up, and then when I went to do it again, I hurried and dropped on my stomach, and boom, that hit again. After that, that's been since probably February. Uh, After that, every time I lean up against the kitchen counter to cut vegetables or something, any kind of bumping is painful for me. And so the last 2 months, what I've noticed is the rod is starting to. It's been slowly happening, but it's really gotten worse the last couple months, where the rod is not malleable now, or it's not firm now. The rod itself is, but it will not, when I put it in a certain place, it won't stay. It's like the base is moving again. And I'm like, so that being said, I've had a couple times where I've got down and put my shoes on, and when I've bent in a sitting position, when I've bent over, I've had some burning in there, and I'm just like, that's not. And I don't burn when I pee. Of course, I don't really. I can feel the fluid running through my phallus, but uh, I can't really feel the peeing action, if that makes sense. So I don't think it. What I'm getting at is I don't think it's the urethra. The pain is. I think it's from my pelvic bone and scraping whatever's in there. I think the clitoris is in there somewhere that rubs. I don't know exactly how it's set up, but anyway, that being said, I'm it's kind of getting more painful. Even just sitting, my phallus buckles, and it didn't do that. I was so happy that it didn't do that, because that's what I was dealing with for about a year with the old rod. And there's no way I can penetrate right now because there's no stability in the base. So I'm going to have to go to the doctor, and I know they're going to say, well, let's go and repair it, and I'm going to ask them to not to take it out and put a pump in. I didn't want the pump in the beginning because Dr. Crane was favored the rod, and I get the reasons he favored the rod. You're always ready. It's malleable. It's easier than having to sit and pump. You don't have a plastic thing in your scrotum that could go through your scrotum when uh, your body can reject it. And I didn't want any more plastic stuff in me than I needed. So I chose the rod, and that's why I've had the rod replaced, because for those of you who are new, I had the same issues about a year ago that lasted a year. So it started about 2 years ago. Um, I think it might be because of my weight. Uh, I tend to, when I sit, it all looks good. And maybe it's because it's dropped that I'm noticing it more now, but it's not sitting in my underwear the way it was, and uh, it's it's kind of painful at times when I sit. So there's something going on in there. I need to address it, and if I have to have surgery, I'm going to ask them to replace it with a pump. Uh, you know, I look at it this way. It's a downer in a way that it didn't work for me. But on the other hand, I'm not at an age where I'm really worried about it as far as for sex or anything. Uh, my wife and I have been together long enough we can work through those problems and those issues. So, anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. I want to talk about the pandemic and my view on things. I've said in previous videos that I have family members that became Republican because of, in my view, have never voted before until the NRA made a big deal out of Hillary Clinton taking away their guns and da 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 da. And then my family's pro-gun. So some of my family members are pro-gun, and then other family members just followed them and became Republican and voted for Trump. I am anti-Trump in every way, means you want to think of. I was anti-Trump when he had his reality show. I saw that he didn't care about anybody else but himself, and that having that reality show just made his head bigger about himself, like he really could. I mean, he's a failed businessman. He's a criminal as far as I'm concerned. Anytime you need to hide things, tax returns or whatever, you've done something shady. It might be minute, but the bottom line is you're not freely doing anything. And another thing, the conspiracy theory is that he's hiding that he's not as rich as he claims he is. For whatever reason, he has never taken the highest office in our country serious. He's made it more a power trip for him. Uh, and there's no comforting words in anything he spews out of his mouth. He doesn't lift up people. If he's complimenting that he's worked with someone and they work really well, if you listen to the tone and how he's acting, it's about him, this person being able, that he approves of this person basically, and that's why he works with them. But again, anybody who comes against him or says a word against him, they're fired. And he's putting people in positions that run our country, and I don't think people are getting that run our country, and he's putting these people in these positions that are not qualified. That being said, the pandemic. I've watched with my own eyes in my own town when we first got slammed. I watched that the roads were creepy. There was hardly any cars, Kids were sent home from school. Uh, and I was in the middle of a project that I needed to get done before the extreme heat. And so I would mask up. I even gloved up in the beginning. Excuse me. And went and got my materials at Lowe's. disappointing to watch people walk around without masks. People taking their children in there by the loads, not wearing masks, not having any precautions. I watched after the stimulus checks were sent out. More people, more people were coming into Lowe's, and we had lines clear back from the front to the very back. People spending money. I don't know if it's because of the stimulus check. I don't know, or if they're just using their credit and fixing things around their house because they're home all the time. I'm not going to judge them, but what I am saying about the whole situation is they went without masks. So when you go without mask in a pandemic that's an airborne disease, you're just asking for trouble, and you may not get it immediate. I mean, it may not. You may not have it, the symptoms, but you could carry it. And the spraying you do when you talk uh, can infect other people. So I had a discussion with one of my nieces about the mask, and she's pro-Trump, and I just said, common sense, regardless of your political affiliation, we are in the middle of a pandemic, and we're not going to get better until everybody does what they're supposed to do. We're not full blown back open, but yet everybody's running around as if nothing's ever happened to this city. Uh, it saddens me because I told her, I said, the bottom line is, this is killing people, regardless of what you've been told. A lot of it's conspiracy theory. I said, but the bottom line is you got to use your common sense. Do you want to infect your family? Do you want someone to get infected at a point where they're hospitalized and being by themselves? Uh, we've got a friend whose sister was admitted over 3 weeks ago and just got intubated this past week. So you just don't know. I mean, really, do your part. As far as wearing gloves, we did in the beginning, and I told my wife, I said, it's really not, it doesn't help much to wear gloves because you're touching things, you're loading your car, you're touching your car, you take off the gloves because you think you're safe, and then you've already opened up your car with, it's just, I was wiping down my car and everything when I first started like grocery shopping and stuff during the pandemic. And I just realized, and then they came out later that it was airborne. They didn't think you could transfer it from, object to object. My mom has COPD, so she's really been hidden, and I've been picking up her groceries for her. But again, let's just use our common sense. I went into Lowe's the other day. Now, they are mandating a sign in front of the store saying you must wear a mask when you're in public. Wear a mask before you come in. Okay? Get this. I looked at this woman, she didn't have a mask on. And then the guy came with the basket, he didn't have his mask on. But he had his mask on, but it was below his chin. Guess where her mask was? In her hand. Oh, I've got a mask. I mean, and I think, are you really either that ignorant, or two, you just don't give a damn, or three, you're just being defiant? Because in the beginning, when I would look at people not wearing masks, they would give me a look like, I felt like they say, go ahead, challenge me. And I know with my family, they haven't social distanced in the very beginning. One of my nieces who I was talking to, I guess, is starting to wear masks and everything in public. But that was the way they acted in the beginning. So anyway, I just want you guys to realize, push away the political beliefs, put it to a side, and ask yourself, you may be a carrier and never come down, excuse me, with a symptom. So for everybody else's sake, be safe, wear a mask when you're out, order in if you can. Tony and I tried actually ordering groceries through Vaughn's, and it was okay, but they didn't pick out things like we would pick them out, So that's a pandemic. Mentally, we're doing fine. Tony's reporting to work. She's got the virtual classing going on, and it's tough because They can't, even if the kids don't turn in their work until late, they can't knock them down for it. So, and she said they've got kids laying on beds in the classroom. There's just no structure for the virtual. The teachers are mainly, from what I get from her, the policy of the virtual is no kid left behind. So still give them credit. They get credit if they log on to one class but don't go to any other class. It's really weird how they're like just letting the kids just do what they want and still get credit for everything. I don't know the reasoning behind it. I just feel like, once again, we're not making our kids accountable and teaching them that they need to be accountable. I mean, there's a lot of things that are not being taught to kids that were taught to me. And I don't think that it's the changing of times. I think it's just, I honestly blame it all on the timeouts era. Yeah, I do. Because I saw a big shift in attitudes in children. Some kids are never affected by timeouts. And I know with two step kids I had, one couldn't handle a spanking. The other one couldn't handle being locked in their room. So each kid is different and you approach them in different ways. But yeah, that's what's going on with Tony. She's in the classroom. And we have tore down our laundry room to the subfloor, and I just did everything to put the washer and dryer back in yesterday. And we still have to buy some like corners and baseboards and you know things to make it look nice. And then we'll go into the little bathroom that's off of that. It's actually called a mud room. It did have a tiny shower and a sink and a toilet. The guy took out the shower and put a cabinet in there, which is fine. We don't need three showers. Uh, and I'm going to paint that, and we'll take the floor. We're not tearing out cabinets or anything on that. The cabinets are still good. Like I said, it's a mud room. Anyway, guys, I hope you're taking it safely and being cautious health wise. But always, always take it one day at a time and make your journey as simple as possible. We'll talk to you later.